Hello viewers, welcome to the session. In this session, we will discuss about pricing strategies and its importance on trading. How a seller wants to sell their goods or services at a particular price which attracts more number of customers and also gives profit maximization. Before understanding various strategies behind this decision making of pricing, let us understand the basic meaning of pricing as the amount of money charged for a product or service is called pricing a product or service, or in the other way, the sum of the values that consumers exchange for the benefits of having or using the product or service can be a price. While pricing a product, the seller not only thinks about his investment but also about his target profits and aiming to attract more number of customers and standing in the competition, etc. So to think around these objectives, there are different kinds of strategies classified into four categories based on costs, competition, demand, and strategy. Before going into detail about these four strategies, let us recall the product life cycle and its four stages. So, any life cycle of a product or service has four stages: introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and declining stage. And whereas when we will map these pricing strategies to the each stage, this will help to take the decisions based on costs when the business is in introduction stage, because the seller is looking for crossing the break even, and after break even point the seller is aiming profits as well as market share. That means he is supposed to face some competitors. So when he reaches to the growth stage, then the pricing must follow this competition based methods, and after crossing that stage, when the product or service reach to this maturity stage where it can create more demand in the market to attract more customers at more profits, then demand based pricings are suitable methods. And in the stage of declining or in the stage of re-engineering the product or inventing the new products is the stage where the seller has to take the decisions of how to increase the life cycle. Then the seller has to think about prices based on strategy to attract more customers and to give more profits. Now let us look into the individual methods under each category. Under cost-based methods, there are different kinds of methods are there. Based on cost, the price is to be decided. And based on competition, going rate price and sealed bid price are workable in line with competitors. Coming to the demand based, perceived value price will really gives lot of profits to the seller, and also price discrimination. By this experiment, they can attract not only more customers and definitely they can raise more profits. So this is the stage where the seller gains at most profits. When in the strategy stage, there are 8 kinds of pricing strategies or methods as listed here: market skimming, market penetration, two-part pricing, block pricing, commodity bundling, peak load pricing, cross subsidization, and transfer pricing. Let us have a look into each individual, starting from cost plus pricing method, which is based on cost that we calculate the price. Basically, when we calculate the amount that we spend to manufacture a product or service, so that become the total amount in the form of fixed and variable. So fixed costs plus variable costs become total costs. When the margin of the profit, if it adds to the total cost, so that become the total revenue that we are aiming at. So when the total cost plus our profit percentage divided by number of units produced, that's become the price of each unit plus taxes has to be added according to the individual product nature tariffs. Each individual small businesses, some unique products or some expensive single design products. So these are the suitable things to create this cost based pricing. Or when our business is in starting stage, when we want to recover the basic costs as fast as possible, then the seller will follow this kind of cost based pricing. Under this pricing there are four different categories that are there, followed by different kinds of businesses. Cost plus pricing, which is already the basic things, we already discussed it. Full cost pricing, target profit pricing, and marginal cost pricing are some of the variant methods under cost based. Under full cost pricing, when the seller is dealing with an individual projects or a individual expensive products, he used to maintain their inventory in the form of raw material, people and money based on the customer requirements. If the seller compiles the product and giving to the customer, there they used to collect the complete cost of the investment plus profit in a complete manner without waiting for further recovering of break even. Example, construction companies constructing a building or some assembling a cars, or this kind of examples are suitable to explain this full cost pricing. And coming to the target profit pricing, here the seller will not have any hurry to collect all the full cost from the customers at the initial stage, but they want to make more number of customers, and they want to retain the customers for a long period of time. In that case, they just decide some target profit. Mostly initially the profits they expect are low, but based on the demand that increases for the product or service in the market, they used to charge more by adding more target profits. So this is one kind of method which aims to stand in a market for a long period of time with some unique products or services. And coming to this, marginal cost pricing is suitable when we have huge number of fixed costs for our business and less number of variable cost. The nature of variable cost is changes according to the production, and which requires the immediate return by sales revenue. So there is no possibility to postpone variable cost, but whereas the fixed costs can postpone, the recovery of fixed costs can be postponed or can be collected based on the marginal way. So initially the marginal collection of fixed costs will reduce the price then and can attract more people, more number of customers, and later when the demand is increasing, customers are increasing, and they can add the contribution of this fixed cost amount in the price of the product. But here the disadvantage is our fixed costs or the return on fixed cost is somehow lower than the other methods. So these are the some of the ways, and the example for marginal cost pricing is some hotel business. The hotel, a big restaurant which is giving a complete full ambience to the customers, and there they have to decide the price based on the cost but not based on the full cost of fixed costs. And when discussing this going rate price, which is part of competition based, which we usually follow in growth stage when our product or service in growth stage, and the seller can set the price in line with competitors in the market irrespective of their costs that they spend to manufacture or the traveling a cost that they spent, but they adjust their price according to the market price with the other sellers, unless they cannot raise good profits or even they cannot sell their products if they don't adjust these prices. But here sometimes they'll get more profit if market price is more than their expected price, and sometimes they get loss when the market price is lesser than their expectation. And to see the sealed bid pricing is somehow this is a quoted price by the demanded sellers. When the sellers are more for the limited buyers, then buyers have chance to collect these secret quotations from the sellers, and which selected based on the lowest cost and meeting the requirements of customers. So to quote the price, the number of sellers that they are applying for the tender, they used to maintain their price in a secret cover, which is called tendering process and also sealed bid pricing. And when in the case of more number of buyers for less number of sellers, then sellers can ask for this bid pricing from the buyers, whereas they can select the buyers based on the high price quoted. So this is a pricing method which usually used in construction field. Under competition based, those are the two methods where the sellers has to survive among all the competitors. After reaching that position, they reach this growth stage, that means which they used to maintain maximum number of profits at maturity stage. Okay, they stood one among the few sellers and taking good competition from the other sellers and also good faith from the customers. So here the perceived value pricing is a method under demand based, where the seller tries to understand the customer's mind and their perseverance and their tastes and preferences, and based on that they divide the different kinds of customers, and based on the customers expectations and income ranges, so depends on that they used to charge the price to the people in a different way for the products and services. So this perceived value price can be considered as the total perceived value of the customers. So which is determined by the difference of total consumer benefit and total customer cost. So here the point where the seller can get maximum profits by creating special impacts on some of the unique products. Example, this gold and diamond, these kinds of businesses, some of them are arranged to attract very rich customers, and they used to serve them in a rich way to attract more number of customers. And hotel business is also an example for this kind of perceived value pricing. Second method under demand-based pricing is price discrimination. For the same kind of product, when the seller wants to attract more number of customers in different ranges of their income, then the seller can experiment their product with different prices. Sometimes they can charge different price based on the quantities. For example, the daily product that we use is a shampoo, maybe developed in a different quantities from 1 liter to half or 200 ml, 100 ml to a 1 rupee sachet form. So in that way they used to attract more number of customers, but whereas they don't lose anything in this process, when the size or quantity is decreasing, they increase the price, but the price is suitable to all kind of income range people. Or sometimes the similar kind of products are providing in different kinds of environments to the customers, which the environment is suitable to the respective customers. So in this way they do some experiment on pricing by giving different offers to the customers to cover all range of customers. And based on the strategy, there are two objectives for any seller. Either to increase the demand for declining product by adding some good features, restructuring, or some strategies to attract the people again, or the second objective is they are going to introduce new product in place of the existing one, where they identified they cannot improve the existing product demand further, then they used to wind up that product and they want to start new product. So this is the two situations where the seller has to think their pricing method based on strategy. Under this, the first widely used methods are skimming price and penetration price. Under skimming price, the seller wants to set high price in the initial times itself after creating good faith and good attraction over customers. And in the initial few days they will sell on high prices, and later they want to reset their price according to the market demand. And whereas the penetration price is the opposite in nature, they set low price initially to attract customers or to make them habituate towards the product, and later based on the people attracted to the product they used to increase the demand or price. And these are the two examples we can add for skimming and penetration. Most of the technological inventive products comes under skimming price, where they can spend much money on promotional things like advertisement, on flash sales, on by adding brand images to introduce in a large level with huge prices. And some products, slowly the new products which are already have substitutes in the market, where the customers don't want initially, but later they identify the importance of the usage, and when they start using that product. So that kind of products has to start with low price. So these are the examples, the Geo and Maggi noodles. And in some limited places, instead of sales on Samsung and Apple kinds of brands, people will more attract for Micromax to have a huge different features with lower prices, where the customer income groups are low. So these are all examples for penetration pricing. And the other method under strategy based pricing is two-part pricing policy. So this is a fixed fee initially charged to avail any product or service, and later based on the usage they will add second part price, which is differentiate by the usage of the customer. So example for this is taxi fares, like mostly service based businesses, amusement parks, or mobile phone tariffs. So these are the examples, or club registrations, etc. And coming to this block price, which is really helpful to any kind of seller which they have lot of different products under same brand, whereas they have huge demand for one product and less demand for other product. So they can combine all kinds of products under one package, and they can sell all together at certain reasonable price, so where they can gain the profits by clearing all the undemanded stock. These are the examples of this block price. And whereas bundle price used to clear the existing stock, but in the same kind of stock, when it is blocked in huge quantities, then the seller can give more quantities at a limited price. Instead of buying one product at one fixed price, by combining the products with huge quantities, the total price will be reduced. So these are the example, buy one get one, or if you buy two get one, you can save 46 rupees if you buy all together. So these kinds of attractions really influence lot of people to buy the same product in different quantities. But here the condition is that product should be continuously usable to the customers. And next price is called peak load pricing, which is part of again strategy, when the sellers think that they cannot raise the profits throughout the year by selling the product or service, because the demand is not there for throughout the year. They have seasonal demand, or some uncertain demand. So in that way, they just wait for the time where the demand goes to peak. So in that time, they used to charge more to attract more number of customers with variety of goods and different kinds of services in a huge quantities. So that sales revenue will survive their profit margin of total year. So these are the examples for peak load pricing products and services. Gold, transport when in holidays and some festive seasons and function halls are suitable to charge in a peak load. The next method under strategy based is cross subsidization. Under this, when the same brand is creating different kinds of products, but whereas one product has high demand, whereas the other product has less demand, as we already told in the before slide. Here they can transfer the profit percentage of undemanded product to this demanded product price. So they can charge high price to the demanded product where that price covers the profit margin of the other products also. So this is the method called cross subsidization. So the high quantity sales brands will gain the profits for the rest of the products. Whereas the transfer pricing is the same kind of method, but they use before the manufacture. They set up similar kind of plant and the same raw materials with the same time, with the same efforts. They used to produce different flavors or different nature of products. For example, shampoo and conditioner, and also shampoo in different flavors. So the raw material process time and the plant layout setup is same, but at the end they used to add some different flavors to charge in a different way. In that way they can charge high price according to the demanded products, and the others can just survive the purpose of holding the demand for a particular brand. So these are the types under strategy based where the sellers usually follow. Other than this, there are various new methods that are coming. The prices very low at the closing sales, or complementary products, or products based on the scheme, or products based on the credit availability. These are the other recent kinds of products that are there in the market to attract more number of seller buyers from the sellers. Thank you.